there, my name's Adam Quiney, and in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about this tendency we have to want to be comfortable inside of structures designed to be uncomfortable. And this kind of grew out of a conversation with a friend of mine, Michelle Aiken, who's also a coach in New York. And we were noticing that transformational work, especially in the realm of leadership, typically has a phase in it where people confront this. They're confronted by this. If you're really doing any kind of work, you're going to hit, and when I say work, what I mean is any kind of transformational leadership development kind of work. Anything coaching, anything designed to recreate you, reinvent you, to have you step into the next level of your own leadership. You're going to hit this point. And it's the point where what you're doing starts to feel shitty. So anytime you're taking on leadership, you're going to be moving outside of your comfort zone. There's no leadership to be had inside of what you're already good at. And this is where most people want to hang out. It's not to suggest you can't bring leadership inside your comfort zone, but there's no new development of yourself as a leader. And what leaders do is they're constantly expanding their capacity to be with. What I mean by that is they're expanding what they're able to show up as a leader in. And in order to do so, you have to keep pushing outside of your comfort zone. Once you've decided, okay, this is my leadership space, there's nothing wrong with that. You can continue to be a leader there, but you're just limited in what you can create. And so when you're taking on any kind of real transformational work designed to develop the next level of your leadership, people hit this point where they're like, wow, they're outside of what's comfortable. And they start to say things like, this just doesn't feel right. Or this just isn't me. Or I don't want to do that. That feels awkward and uncomfortable. I thought about it and it felt gross, and so I decided not to do it. These are the sort of things that they come back and start to have this conversation with you as their coach or as a leader developing someone else's leadership. And the pitfall here is that people have this belief that it should feel good, that it should feel right when they're developing their leadership. And there's nothing wrong with going for feeling right, but that is not the direction in which your breakthroughs lie. Breakthroughs are an ability to have a new experience outside of what was previously possible. And in order to do that, of course, you're going to have to step out of what's comfortable. You're going to have to step into the land of the discomfort. You're going to step outside of what you already know. And of course, that's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel wrong. It's going to feel like it's not you because currently it isn't. You haven't established yourself in that way yet. Just like if I'd spent the last 10 years of my life operating with a story that I was awkward around people and that people didn't like me. Let's just pretend I'd done that. So I developed this really strong belief in my mind that people don't like me and they don't want to be around me. And when I'm with people, it's uncomfortable. And I start to work with a coach because I want to actually change that. I want to have a beautiful wife, and I want to really lead people towards something powerful. I could just feel it. There's a calling deep within me that I want to do that. And so we start to dismantle this story. And part of dismantling it means I'm going out into the world and confronting that belief that I've had running for the last 10 years. So I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to have conversations with people. And predictably what's going to happen is those 10 years of pattern, they're going to be in my head, and there's going to be a part of me that's going to want to look for the evidence to prove that, because it's a strong pattern. So I'm going to notice the way people watch me, and I'm going to interpret it. I'm going to interpret it according to that pattern. I'm going to see someone look at their watch when they're talking to me. I'm going to assume that means they actually don't want to be with me. They want to leave. And so then I'm going to find myself in this situation where I'm like, boy, I'm trying to break up this story. I'm putting myself out there, but this doesn't feel right. This person's looking at his watch. All the evidence points to he doesn't want to be with me. Now, the truth is that that's simply how I've trained myself to interpret the signals external to me. The feedback I get from people, I've learned to put through that filter, that lens. And so people then go back to their coach and they say, I didn't really like that practice, of going out and talking to people. It was really awkward. I felt uncomfortable. It just didn't feel like me. And if I've spent the last 10 years buying, believing, and living according to a story that people don't like me, of course it's not going to be me. This idea of you as a fixed person, what you're taking on is flying counter to that. And the funny thing, when you start to get into the more theoretical realm of exploring leadership is that there is no you. There's no fixed version of you. We relate to ourselves as though there's this fixed version, like there is a me, and that me is comfortable with certain types of people or not with others, as though that's just locked in. But it's not. It's simply how you've learned to create your life and to relate to yourself. That's the story you have about yourself. And you gather and hold on to evidence, accept evidence that goes along with that story, and you reject evidence that doesn't go along with that story. Or you simply ignore it. That's what our ego does. It filters and lets certain types of feedback in and discards other types of feedback. So the thing that's a challenge here is, if you really want to create breakthroughs, if you want to just develop the next level of leadership for yourself, or even create some opportunity or some experience in your life that's not currently available, and that might be as simple as a new relationship that's totally different than all the relationships you've had, or a completely redefined relationship with money, or something like that, you're going to have to be willing to, one, get uncomfortable, and two, to let go of your stories and your belief about what is you. If you can't remove those stories, if you're not willing to let go of them, they're going to rule your world. Because what we hang on to and hold true is what we tend to get more of. And so this is the challenge that people find themselves in when they're working with a coach, is that they're often what they want is an experience of comfort inside a structure that coaching is a structure, inside a structure that's designed to have you be comfortable. And then, that's designed to have you be uncomfortable. And then when they find themselves uncomfortable, they come back to the coach and they're like, I don't think it's working. I don't think this is me. I don't think I really need this. And you don't need it. But it's important to note that if you really want to create breakthroughs in your life, you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. That's part of the magic of how this works. So take a look. Are you turning down opportunities? Are you rejecting things because of a belief that it's just not you? Are you taking structures that are designed to have you be uncomfortable and trying to create comfort in them? Because really what that's doing is it's sabotaging yourself. It's removing the opportunities for growth. Your job in life isn't actually to make yourself comfortable. It's to continue to put yourself outside into the place where you're not comfortable, because that's where your growth, your breakthroughs, and your leadership lie.